Now the big story at 4 o'clock. Russia's ruthless invasion underway. All-out chaos in Ukraine, frightened families seeking shelter.
We try be brave because we have children.
While others flee in fear.
I have just passport documents and some money.
The world watching the grim reality of war.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
Extensive Team 7 coverage of the Russia-Ukraine crisis starts now. We take you live now to Kyiv, Ukraine, the country's capital, where it is 11 p.m. local time. The streets there deserted, and those who chose to stay behind holding on to hope while hiding out in their homes and even in some cases, subway stations. Hello and welcome, everybody. Ukraine under attack, the horrific stain that will go down in history at the hands of Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Now more American troops are on the way to the region. 7's Joe Rhodes begins our extensive team coverage. He's in the Newsplex. Joe.
Belky, 7,000 U.S. service members right now are heading to Europe to defend allies with fears over whether Putin would even stop at the western edge of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukraine's armed forces say 57 people are now dead, more than 160 injured as Russia ignores diplomacy and rolls through their country.
How can I find them?
An all-out assault. Russia's attack on Ukraine starting before dawn Thursday with a series of missile attacks from three sides, the north, the south, and the east. Gut-wrenching photos show just a sliver of the aftermath. Vehicles destroyed, mounds of debris, a children's playground hit following several reported explosions. People in Ukraine urged to take cover as those forces moved in by air and on the ground, as Ukraine's president declared martial law.
Putin began war against Ukraine, against the entire democratic world. He wants to destroy my country, our country, everything we've been building, everything we are living for.
By Thursday afternoon, Russian forces advancing closer to the capital city of Kyiv, where air raid sirens sounded off through the day. Ukrainian officials say after attempting to fend off Russian troops, they lost the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, a sacred area to the north of Kyiv after the nuclear disaster here back in 1986. This all comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin addressed his country during an unscheduled appearance on state television early Thursday morning, declaring this, quote, special military operation was underway to protect Donbass.
A decision has been made of a special military operation. Its aim is to defend the people who, for 8 years, have put up with terrible humiliation.
Though he did not call it a war, images on the ground tell a different story.
These troops you can see over here, they are Russian airborne forces. They have taken this airport.
Putin lashing out at the West, sending a grave warning to any country who tries to stop him in his tracks.
That Russia's response will be fast and give you such consequences you will never face again, and you faced again in your history.
President Joe Biden reiterating support of Ukraine, pledging assistance.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
The commander-in-chief unveiled harsh new sanctions against Russia.
I'm announcing the first tranche of sanctions to impose costs on Russia in response to their actions yesterday. These have been closely coordinated with our allies and partners and will continue to escalate sanctions if Russia escalates.
In addition to finance, the U.S. also targeting Russia's military with this round of sanctions.
We've cut off Russia's government from Western financing. It can no longer raise money from the West and cannot trade in its new debt on our markets or European markets either.
President Joe Biden saying sanctions against President Putin himself are still on the table. Those could target the Kremlin leader financially and further isolate him from the world. When asked why those are not already being imposed, the president did not answer. We're live in the Newsplex. Joe Rhodes, 7 News.
And Joe's invasion grows by the minute here. All across Ukraine, people's daily lives turn upside down. Here tonight, Ukrainian civilians sleeping in makeshift bomb shelters in some cases as Russia invades this sovereign nation. Nightfall in Ukraine, and close to 1 day after the full-scale Russian invasion began, chaos across the country unfolding as a war begins. Ukrainian police seen walking the streets, trying to enforce a curfew in the capital city of Kyiv. Here, video of Ukrainian officers breaking up crowds and in some cases taking people into custody.
We're going to try to move down.
Subway stations in Ukraine now converted into bomb shelters as the lives of so many Ukrainians are upended. Explosions heard across the city of Kharkiv. An aftermath like this now seen all over.
Actually, it's very horrible, very scary.
It was scary, of course.
This mother says the explosions woke her family up. Now they're sheltering in place despite having very little to eat.
We try be brave because we have children and we don't want to show them that we are scared.
Thousands trying to escape by driving out of Ukraine's capital, where explosions were also heard. Rail stations also overcrowded as people attempt to escape war. In Ukraine's eastern region of Donetsk, grocery stores packed, and some families seen here too in bomb shelters. About 100 miles to the south, long lines at banks as people try to pull money out of ATMs. Ukrainian leadership saying at least 40 people have been killed, many who live in the country asking for the world's help and want America to take a tougher stance against Russia.
If Joe Biden, the U.S. president, will be tough with Putin, there will be more sanctions, will be more pressure, then it will be okay. If America doesn't step aside, we will win this war. Because Ukraine is prepared to fight. We are ready to fight. We're ready to protect our land. We respect Russian people, but we do not respect Russian president.
Well, that curfew you mentioned in the capital city of Kyiv, Ukraine, went into effect at 10 p.m. overseas and will last until daylight, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.